welcome back to Turnabout Kidnap episode 3 part 4. This is gonna be the last one until we finish this chapter and then we go to the next one. But right now we're going to go and finish this up and figure out who was the murderer and who the kidnappers are. Where's the costume, Detective Gumshoe? Just on the other side of the fountain, sir. Was it out here in the open all along? No, it was discovered in the tall grass back there. We moved it out here in order to examine it more thoroughly. Then let's get down to it. Well, we can already see that there's one incriminating evidence is this necklace. What do we have here? Oh, it's another pendant. That's 2 treasure in one day. How lucky is that? And hey, this pretty baby's made of platinum silver too! Another pendant on top of the one we found on Mr. Deacon? Is it possible that these two... Hold it right there! It's Wolf Boy. It's Wolf Boy! Hands off, Mr. Prosecutor. You sure know how to cross the line, don't you? A pendant. Huh. This is a very decisive piece of evidence. How can you tell? Look here and read off what you see. Lauren. Hey, it's the name that's engraved on this. Miss Pop's pendant. It's Miss Pop's? Wait. I need to check something. The letter? Was that also? No, that's Viola. Oops, forgot. Aha! We have you now, Miss Kidnapper. No, you don't understand. Lolly, I can't believe you were one of my kidnappers. Lance! You're kidding! Miss Pops was one of the kidnappers? Yes. She confessed. It was me. I held Lance hostage. So Miss Pops is one of the kidnappers. But even knowing that, I can't call this case solved or over. Hey guys, case closed. Get the car ready, and I mean the special one for this young lady. Hey, again, Mr. Prosecutor, what is it this time? Are you proposing that Miss Pops is also the culprit in the murder case? What happened? I thought Officer Meekins was your suspect. We found it. Found what? The officer's gun. He literally dropped it in the middle of the thick patch of grass. Your country's police are a shame. Just look at how careless they are. Who are you calling a sham? Did he say sham or shame? Oh yeah, he did say sham. The officer's gun didn't show signs of having been fired, so it can be the murder weapon. So Officer Meekins has been cleared of all charges. I see. And that's when a brand new suspect comes walking onto the scene. The murder only happened because the kidnappers started fighting amongst themselves. As I recall, it was you who said that, right, Mr. Prosecutor? Miss Pops, did you really kill Mr. Deacon? Yes, I killed him. I can't believe it. Thanks for the confession. Agent Lang, it's much too early to declare this case closed. Look at you, so sure of yourself. We've got the culprit's own confession and some very incriminating evidence. What more could you ask for? Miss Lauren Pops. Yes? I want to hear it from you. Tell me your side of all that has happened today, from the kidnapping to the murder. But why? I am the kidnapper and the killer. Isn't that enough? She's gonna cut her own hair. It's fine if you're the one behind everything, but only if that is the truth. Now then, will you tell us the truth? So I guess she is lying to us. If she's like in shock. Or is there some reason why you can't? I had a change of heart. I think I'd enjoy seeing you sulk away as the losing mutt. Alright, you heard me. Let's hear about all the evil deeds you committed today. The one who came up with the kidnapping plan was the butler, Mr. Deacon. We knew that we could get rich by holding Lance hostage. Mr. Amon would pay anything to get his son back, after all. Everything was going according to plan, but as soon as we got the money, Mr. Deacon turned on me and tried to kill me. Wait, but that doesn't make sense if there were 3 kidnappers. And who's the 3rd one then? We're still missing someone. There, are you satisfied? She just confessed to her crimes a 2nd time. At least you have the guts to admit what you've done. I can at least respect that much. Miss Pops, is that what you said really the truth? Yes, it is. If that is the truth, it certainly isn't the whole truth. Because there is something that seems a bit too improbable in her confession. Okay, we gotta figure out if maybe that's the case where 3 kidnappers. Do we have to confess?
Hold it!
How well did you know the victim? I've spoken with him only a few times at Lance's house. A few times? That's it? Yes. If they only met a few times, I don't see how they could have trusted each other. But if you've hardly ever talked, then how could he trust you not to steal his plan? That's completely irrelevant. He was planning to betray her from the very beginning. Which is why he chose someone he wasn't especially close to. Isn't that right, Sheena? Yes, however, Mr. Deacon made a very poor choice. In the end, he was killed by the one he intended to betray himself. Ha! I bet he didn't see that one coming.
Hold it!
You knew? How did you know something like that? Oh no! What should I do? Okay, what's wrong with her now? Come on, isn't it obvious? You're making your scary face again. That's why. Why don't you try asking her in a nicer, more gentle way? No, stop it, Lauren. You always like this. You always fall for the stern-looking one. That's why you're always unhappy. Will be unhappy. Oh my god. Or maybe that's it. She been bewitched by your icy glare. Mind your own business, Kai. Now then, Miss Pops, let's continue with your testimony. Oh, yes, of course.
Hold it!
Why did you believe that? Anyone who knows Mr. Armano would think the same. I bet Lance is the old man's greatest treasure. I suppose he would be to a doting father like Mr. Armano. I always figured that it was it too. And I was always envious of Lance for it. Oh, because your dad's... I got this pendant from my father. And I believe that as long as I've got this, I'll find my father again someday. Wait, well, did it says Lauren D. Pops, right? It says Colin Diever. Wasn't maybe, like I said, that she is the daughter of Diever? Because it says Lauren D, Lauren Pops. So the D, why is it P? Which is, you know, I think we have to figure that out too. He'll welcome me into my arms, riding on the back of a Pegasus. The pendant, she must truly believe it to be the wings of a Pegasus. Everything was going to plan.
Hold it!
Would you mind telling us a little about the plan itself? Well, first we captured Lance. Ooh, how did you do that? Well, Mr. Deacon did that on his own, so I don't quite know. Bah. And here I thought you knew how to steal people away. I shudder to think what she would do with such knowledge. Sorry, I really don't know, but somehow Mr. Deacon was able to contain him. All we had to do after that was wait for the ransom to be paid. But turned on you and tried to kill you. Why do you think he did? I have no idea, but maybe he had planned on doing so from the very beginning. Miss Pops. Wait, Mr. Deacon planned to kill Miss Pops from the very beginning? Was that ever really likely to happen? What should I do? Should I raise an objection? I think we should raise an objection. Sorry, but I don't think what you just claimed is all that likely. Uh-huh. I don't think Mr. Deacon would have ever been capable of killing you. But why? We're totally strangers! We're total strangers. It's not uncommon for people... Miss Pops, you really are clueless, aren't you? It's like it's unknown for people to kill each other over money. What do you mean? You never knew what your role in the kidnapping was, nor do you know who you really are. But I do, and I can show you with this piece of evidence. This proves that Mr. Deacon would never been able to bring himself to kill Miss Pops. Should we present the pendant? I think so. Why are you showing this to me? So what about the pendant? This horse pendant, along with the piece of evidence, shows who you really are. That's this! These two pendants resemble each other, wouldn't you agree? Hey, you're right! They're the same color, and they're even made of the same material. I believe that these two pendants are actually one. Ah. Shall we give it a try? Wow! It's totally a Pegasus! But why? Why does my pendant match up with Mr. Deacon's? You're a smart lady. I'm sure you can imagine why that might be. No! That can't be! So the two make a set. It's just another trinket. It's not as though they changed anything. Your lack of imagination, Angel Lang. Very well, I'll show you with this evidence. This is a piece of evidence that will give meaning of the Pegasus pendant. What would mean? Which evidence would mean that it's actually true? Do we have like a bio of him? Wait. Blood marks. No, this is his death. I think we have to do the information. I think that this should be the one that he was disappeared. Yes. Oliver Deacon was just an alias for this man. His real name is Colin Devior, the name that is attached on the horse pendant. What? An alias? Alias? Alias, I think. I suppose he had to hide the fact that he was a felon somehow in order to live. And it makes sense given what is written in Mr. Devior's dossier. But what I really wanted to point out was this. This specific section reveals the true meaning of the behind the pendant. After escaping, he stole a gun from the guard. We thought he might head to this weapon dollar, but despite our surveillance, he has yet to show up. I think this. Let's just hope. Mr. Devior had one daughter, and her name was Lauren Pops. That's a lie! That person was not my father! He could come out and tell you he was your father because he was in hiding. Oh, he couldn't, right? He couldn't? Yeah, he couldn't. Okay. However, I believe he was trying to secretly watch over you. Do you still believe that a man like that could kill a daughter he was separated from? Or even that such a man would allow his daughter to get involved in a kidnapping plot? And what's so funny, Angel Lan? You're good at making things up in your head and deciding it's the truth, aren't you? What are you trying to say? Your thinking is much too innocent. After all, I've thought of another possibility. Is that so? Well, let's hear it. I'll grant you that the two of them are father and daughter. But isn't it possible that they both knew that fact? It was no coincidence that the reunited pair became involved in the house of Amano. And the two of them made good use of their meetings to plan this little kidnapping. Wouldn't you say my scenario is perfectly probable as well? Not really. So this is his versions of how things might have been. You don't have any proof that either one didn't know of their true relationship, right? You mean they knowingly committed the kidnapping as father and daughter? That's right. As one really rotten family. Is that really what happened? I had better take a long, hard look at the evidence. For real, let me just take a long, hard look at this evidence. Kind of. It's impossible because, like, to be honest, this kind of shows, like, that he thought that he might go back to his wife and daughter, but despite surveillance, he has yet to show up. So he actually never said anything about the situation.
Hold it!
Precisely. And what father would ever willingly kill his own daughter? I've seen a lot of things in my travels, and I can tell you that being related by blood is sometimes proof of nothing.
Hold it!
You think they knew? Yeah, I don't think only the victim knew. I think the girl realized it as well. They both knew who the other person was, but they had to pretend that they didn't. Because he was on the lam? You got it. The victim couldn't exactly go around flaunting who he was. Furthermore, I wanted to press on the second one, but we're just gonna listen to what he says further on. One as a butler and one as a friend of the son, you mean? They probably thought was their best shot. That was their best shot. I can't read. Is that what you honestly believe? Of course.
Hold it!
You mean how they plotted to commit this crime as blood relatives? Can you think of a better partner? They're certainly a clever pair. The butler and the girlfriend. No one would ever suspect that they were in fact family. Yes, from the very beginning, they painstakingly practiced those roles well.
Hold it!
I believe you're being a bit too overconfident for someone with no evidence. Am I? Because I don't see you presenting any evidence to contrary. Without evidence, we're stuck in this stalemate. Agent Lang isn't wrong. His scenario is certainly a probable one. You better hurry up and do something, or Lauren's gonna wind up looking really bad. Wind up. I know, but first things first, is Agent Lang's line of logic factually correct? Did the two of them really knowingly commit in the crime as father and daughter? Like how I said about like having a third victim, because he says the two of them made good use of their meetings to plan, but there was a third kidnapper involved. Let's see. I think we have to present this one. There were 3 stolen costumes, I believe. Yes. This kidnapping wasn't planned by just 2 people alone. And what kind of proof do you have of that? Quite simply, there were 3 kidnappers. 3? I like how he did not know that. 4 costumes were stolen from the Wild Wild West area's back room. We found one of them in the kidnapper's hideout. But as for the other 3, we can assume that they were being worn by 3 different people. We also found a set of 3 cups and 3 folding chairs that were used in the hideout. It all clearly points to a 3-man group. I believe this 3rd person is the real mastermind behind the kidnapping. Who is the mastermind? I present to you the brains behind the kidnapping. Well, we don't have much options. We don't really have much options. So I think he was the one that planned this whole kidnapping. Because it was really weird that he just came out of nowhere.
Take that!
Lance Amano? Yes, this abduction was in fact schemed up by Lance himself. Recall what you said when he appeared before us. Did you see the faces of your kidnappers? No, I didn't see their faces, but 2. One was a woman. However, there were 3 kidnappers, which is in direct contradiction to what he said. But I know I only saw 2 people. This guy was being held hostage. It's possible he couldn't see all 3 of them. Ah, yes. About when you were being held. I have my doubts about what happened then. Lance, would you mind telling us what happened while you were being held captive? I really don't remember much anymore, honest. But if I don't tell you at least something, you won't believe me at all, would you? I was kidnapped yesterday morning. They had me shut in that room, blindfolded the entire time. But the kidnapper suddenly disappeared around the time I heard rain falling outside. My hands were cuffed, but it was a stroke of luck that they left me alone. I made my escape and ran away from the room as fast as I could. Through the underground passageway, I presume. Are you okay? Sorry, I really didn't want to recall that horrible ordeal, but now you believe me, right? Not quite yet. Ah, how can you not? Why do you look at me with... I see daggers in your eyes. Because he's a prosecutor, and because they're all like that. I'll have you know, Agent Lang, a prosecutor's eyes are for discerning the truth. And should they be interpreted to be cruel at times, then so be it. There is a sticking point in Lance's testimony. Let's see what he offers up when I push a little.
Hold it!
Can you tell us about when you were abducted in a little more detail? It was a strange morning. I felt like I was right in the middle of a great calm. And where were you when you experienced this calm? Our family garden, of course! Where else could it have been? Well, excuse me for asking. This child is more princess than prince. I was out taking a walk to shake off the morning bleh. Then, out of the blue, someone from behind clamps a hand over my mouth. You didn't see your attacker? They must have used some drug to knock me out, because before I knew it, I was off in La La Land again. When I woke up, I was in the kidnapper's hideout already, all tied up.
Hold it!
By that room, you mean the room in the kidnapper's hideout, correct? Yes, but I was blindfolded the whole time, so I didn't know that until I made my escape. Then you were in the same room as your kidnappers. They spoke in hushed tones, but I could catch bits of their conversation. It was definitely 2 people, and one of them was definitely a woman. I was so scared, I could tell they were nearby, so I didn't dare make a move.
Hold it!
The kidnappers disappeared. The room fell into a sudden silence. I had been left behind like an unwanted mutt. And what do you mean by unwanted mutt? What a pointless question. It's not like he's going to tell you anything new, you know. It's a poetic simile. You should learn how to use them too. You may look refined on the outside, but it's no good if you're not refined on the inside as well. What is he saying?
Hold it!
Then those cuffs on your wrists, I suppose you are still cuffed in that case. I am well aware of how I am chained to reality. I couldn't find the key, so I'm afraid that I'm stuck like this. Even though I escaped from the jail cell, I will forever be a prisoner.
Hold it!
How did you manage to escape? I wanted to just get out of there, but the door leading outside was locked. Which is why I had to use the underground passage to make my escape. Well, technically it wasn't locked, so I remember our escape to be equally as hard. This is an invaluable piece of testimony. I must let it go unexamined. Yes, he's gonna add it. The door leading outside was locked tight, so I had to use the underground passageway. Well, you're wrong, because it's not locked. We know that for sure. To jam the door from the hideout.
Objection!
You say that the door leading out was locked, but was it really? We're talking about the room behind the salon front, right? Look, I heard that it took quite a few men to get the thing open, right, Shana? Yes, that's correct. Then take a look at this. What is that? A sword? It's not especially reliable one if it's broken like that. Allow me to start from the end. My conclusion is that the door was never locked. It was simply held shut by a sword which was used to jam the handle. Lance, even though your hands were cuffed together, you could still use them. If that's the case, then why did you not simply remove the sword and escape? Why didn't I? I was disoriented. Yes, that's it. Yes, that's it. I didn't notice it. As if I should suspect such a bold-faced lie. You locked yourself in that room because you had to make yourself look like the victim. But you did not, in fact, possess the key to the door. That is why you used the prop sword to improvise and create a prison of your very own. You've been making this guy out to be one of the kidnappers for some time now. I wonder if you've forgotten something very important along the way. And what would that be? A motive. What else? Do you honestly think that an upright pure boy like him would hatch up a completely pointless scheme such as a kidnapper himself? This proves that Lance did indeed have a motive to commit this crime. He needed money, right?
Take that!
To put it simply, Lance has a very urgent need for money. This is hardly your typical love letter. It is in fact a collection bill. It appears our upstanding boy has accumulated quite a debt. Isn't that right, Lance? Looks like it's hard being the son of a rich man too. It must be rough when you have to resort to stealing from your own old man, huh? Alright, I give up. I abducted myself. Lance! It's over, Lolly. In this life, we really are bound to our fates after all. All I wanted was to go with you to a new town, somewhere where no one would know us. I wanted us to be well off with that 1 million, but now that dream is over. Oh, Lance! Then you are giving yourself up. Yes, I had planned to run away from this world with my Lolly. Oliver even helped us with the plan, but then he had to go and stab us in the back. He turned on you. Maybe he didn't want to split the ransom money. That's my guess. It happened almost right after you made the drop-off. When we were alone, he attacked me all of a sudden. After a brief struggle, I was able to contain him and keep him under control. We left him inside the room as Lolly and I made our escape. We wore different costumes and split up. Lolly left first in the Blue Badger costume. That would mean the person Officer Meekin saw was Miss Pops. But right then, the old man just had to wake up. I was careless, and he tackled me pretty hard from behind. Then Oliver put on a Bad Badger costume, took the suitcase with the $1 million and ran. I contacted Lolly right away and warned her that he had a gun. They had no idea that they were related, so I thought that it could only end badly. I still don't believe it. That person was not my father. Because if he was, I just killed my own father. Lolly, then it was really you. Impossible that she did that. The man was not my father. I mean, because at the stadium, there was a Bad Badger pulling the suitcase with the 1 million inside in it. But the Badger pointed his gun at me, aiming to shoot me dead. That's why I'd used the gun I got from Lance. There was a gunshot. The other person crumbled to the ground, and I ran scared for my life. I think the big picture is finally coming into focus, don't you? Lolly, forgive me. I didn't think it would turn into something so frightening. If only I could have protected you. I don't think she actually killed him. So, Miss Pops, she shot her own dad without even knowing who he really was? If what she said is true, are you saying she's lying? But why would she lie about something like that? What purpose would it serve? You would be surprised how often people lie without even realizing it themselves, Kay. Huh? What's that supposed to mean? What I mean is, listen very carefully to her confession once more and you'll see. I think we can maybe go straight to it.
Hold it!
You were able to clearly see the gun? Yes, I got a very good look at it while it was pointing at me. Oh, father, why would you try to shoot me? Do you really think the father would shoot his own daughter, Mr. Edgeworth? Mr. Edgeworth? I don't know. I don't want to believe it myself. But it's true, my father's left arm was raised with a gun in it, pointing straight at me. I'm about to die, I thought. Miss Pops, please calm down and take a deep breath. And then, would you allow me to please hear that last statement one more time? Yes, of course. Aha. And then we are going to present the information that we know about him. Ah! That's this. He's right-handed. I have here a dossier of your father. And according to this, your father was right-handed. But then the person pointing a gun at you from atop the stage was not Mr. Deacon. Hold on, dear Mr. Prosecutor. I think you need to take a refresher, of course. The Badger has a model gun attached to his right hand, which is why the only hand he could have held the real gun was his left. Isn't it possible that it went down like that? Agent Lang, were you paying attention to what Miss Pops was saying? Then again, I suppose I can expect someone who has never set foot in court to catch it. Enough with your smugness. Out with it already. Miss Pops told us earlier there was a Bad Badger pulling the suitcase with the 1 million in it. According to you, the Bad Badger had the gun in his left hand, which would mean that he was pulling the suitcase with his right hand. Is that correct, Miss Pops? Yes, exactly. And I'm sure it was the Bad Badger. It had those huge sunglasses on its face. But if that's the case, even I see there is a huge contradiction. Yes, Miss Pops claims to have seen the Bad Badger. And yet the Bad Badger had both of his hands full. These two pieces of information contradict each other, so one must be wrong. It wasn't the Bad Badger, both hands were occupied, both are correct. Impossible, that just leaves us with an irresolvable contradiction. Miss Pop's entire statement rests on the fact that she saw his sunglasses and beard. But what if that badger wasn't wearing pants on his lower half? This proves that there was a way for the Bad Badger to freely use both his hands. I think it was the head. Let's just do the head. The costumes have two pairs of them, a head and the body. Oh, I get it now. The head Miss Pops saw was probably really the head of the Bad Badger. However, it's not possible that the body was that of an entirely different badger. A different badger? Yes. Or to put it more bluntly, I believe it was the lower half of this badger. This one, Lauren has, so the only one left is this one. What? The heck is it? Is a proto-badger. Yes, and it's a simple matter of the process of elimination. Miss Pops was wearing the blue badger costume, so we can eliminate that one. And the pink badger is the wrong color, which would have been incredibly obvious. All that's left is the proto-badger costume. Miss Pops, who was the one who wore the proto-badger costume? That would be Lance. Are you saying what I think you are? That Lance Amano donned the Bad Badger head and pretended to be Mr. Deacon? On top of which he plotted to shoot Miss Pops while wearing that hideous thing? The stage was set up in the stadium. The stage that was set up in the stadium was nothing more than that, a setup. And its purpose was to lead Miss Pops into believing she had committed murder. Standing there in front of Miss Pops and pretending to be the victim. It was all done so that she would pull the trigger. I have no idea what you're talking about. Why exactly would I have had to do all of that, huh? There is but one reason, Lance Amano. You are the real culprit behind the murder of Mr. Oliver Deacon. What? No! That's slander. Take it back. You take it back right now. Just out of curiosity, Lance, which is your dominant hand? I'm left-handed, but what does it have to do with anything? It depends. According to Miss Pops, her attacker held a gun in his left hand. Ha! Who is what-handed doesn't prove anything. A thing. And besides, now you're just being absurd. It's not like the proto-badger is bulletproof. One misfire and he would have found himself dead, right? Of course, logically, if he had been shot, he probably wouldn't be here with us. But I believe he had thought of that as well and prepared accordingly. And this should be all the evidence you need. This is how Lance made sure that he wouldn't be hit by the bullet. Oh, I pressed a little too quick. This one! We found one half of the badger costume in the hideout, a broken one. It was not the same one that the victim was wearing. Plus, it was missing something. And that something is the model gun that the Bad Badger carries, which can fire blanks. What? Miss Pops, where is the gun you use now? I threw it away into the sea. That makes it a bit tougher to verify what it was. Although I believe that we can safely assume that it was the model gun in question. I've heard enough. All you've been spouting so far is pure conjecture. I admit that as long as the model gun is lost to us, I can't prove I'm right. However, I can say that the probability that I am right is very high. Okay, let's pretend that you're right and that the murder at the stadium was fabrication. In that case, where do you think the murder really took place, Mr. Prosecutor? I don't know yet. Ha! I knew you were full of it. However, I do believe that the murder took place during an earlier time frame. Please wait a second. It's simply not possible. Because I saw Mr. Deacon after he was restrained by Lance. He saw the victim in the state of being restrained. I came back to the hideout long after the other two. By the time Lance had already subdued and restrained Mr. Deacon, he had tied Mr. Deacon securely to the beam in the room next door. Oh my god. That's not true. That's Mr. Edgeworth. So that means something. We have found the contradiction. After that, the two of us put on our costumes and made our escape. I don't think that she actually saw his face. So Mr. Deacon must have escaped after the two of you left, right? We thought that it'd attract too much attention if we left together, so I left first. We planned to meet up again at the stage in the stadium. But then, as I was walking through the park, I got a call from Lance on my cell phone. Oliver managed to escape. It looked like he was waiting until I was alone. He also stole the gun from me at the time. And then the murder happened. Mr. Deacon must have overheard their plan to meet up at the stage. Well, Mr. Prosecutor, Miss Pop saw the victim with her own eyes. Which means that the victim was still alive at that time. Wouldn't you agree? Why does that sound wrong to me? There must be something amiss about this account. Let's see what happens when I examine in it more detail. Maybe we can go straight away to what you said.
Hold it!
Oh no, my battery! Are you sure that it was Mr. Deacon that you saw? Yes, I am certain of what I saw. Did you go into the other room to check? Lance said that it was best if I didn't get too close to him. Lance, he's such a kind soul. And are you telling me that you did not confirm that it was Mr. Deacon for yourself? I checked through the slit in the door that separates the two rooms. He had the Bad Badger's head on, so I'm absolutely sure. That's just... had to be Mr. Deacon. She saw a Bad Badger head. It can't be... We're gonna press on it. So the tied up Mr. Deacon was still in his Bad Badger costume? Yes, and? It would appear that she misread the whole situation. Now, should I? Yes, we should raise an objection. The person you saw was not the victim. What? Why not? I will tell you why not. With this. This Miss Pops shows that the person you saw was not the victim. I think clearly it's the head only that was left behind, that was in the isolated room. Miss Pops, the person you saw was not Mr. Deacon at all. Huh? The person you actually saw was this person. Himself. It was me. Huh? The person I saw was you, Mr. Edgeworth? I also thought it was a bit odd. Why would the kidnapper abduct me, even after I had handed over the ransom? It's not as though I saw the face of the kidnappers. If I were them, I would have just taken $1 million and ran. But in the end, there was a point to it all. It was to make me look like Mr. Deacon. And if that was the reason for which I was abducted, then I believe we can assume that the victim was already dead at that time. Well, Lance, am I right? That's... You showed Miss Pops a person, namely me, with a Bad Badger's head on. And then, when your costume escaped together, or so you pretended. Huh? What do you mean he pretended? Exactly that. I believe Lance watched you escape and then doubled back to the hideout. Probably to come and remove the Bad Badger head from my unconscious self. He's not liking this. And to create his fake prison with the prop sword. He then escaped via the passageway. Hold your tongue, boy. Don't get caught up in that tidal wave of words coming out of Mr. Prosecutor's mouth. Tidal wave? We heard a lot come out of you, but I've yet to see a shred of evidence. The victim's betrayal and his subsequent detainment. All of that could have happened while you were out cold. That's right! You were out for a while, Mr. Prosecutor. Even if that were the case, Miss Pops would have still seen me tied to that beam. I was scared of Mr. Deacon, so I didn't go into the next room. So I really had no idea if you were in there or not, Mr. Edgeworth. You see, it would seem that you can't prove a thing. Salisa! Who said that? Oh, here? Oh, please wait. Mr. Amano. Ho ho ho, Miles, my boy. It looks like you're really giving it your all. And Lance, it's not good to cause trouble for others. Dad. Let's see. You're the one in charge of the investigation, correct? Yeah, that's right. I'm sorry that my son has been nothing but trouble. This probably would make up for everything, but I have some evidence for you. Oh, do you now? Huh? Is that what I think it is? It's the Bad Badger costume the victim was wearing, and a gun. I couldn't wait around for the police, so I went and found this myself. It appears that they were disposed of in the sea. Ah, is there no one in this country who actually obeys the law? There. Now. Agent Lang, please calm down. What the heck is this scrap of paper? This appears to be a letter from the Chief of Police. Please allow Mr. Amano complete freedom to do as he sees fit. It says. What? The Chief of Police? What the? Just who does he think he is? The person who wields the highest authority in this area. Oh. There. Now. There is no need to be so upset. I'm not a cop from this land, so I'm not bound by the laws of your country. No. This wasn't meant to strong-arm you into anything. Just a request. I'm only asking that you please respect the law of the land. I can't really say no to that. However, returning to the topic at hand, it doesn't matter who found the evidence. Its values remain unchanged. Alright now, let's take a look at this new evidence. I've already gotten the results back. I've had a special forensic research lab that I'm on good terms with conduct the tests. They verified the blood on the costume belonged to Oliver. As for the gun, the only fingerprint they could have found were yours, Lauren. What? You disappoint me, Miles. I can't believe that you would cause my son such stress and heartache. Thank goodness I was able to find the final pieces of evidence. With this, you'll have no reason left to push my poor boy around. That's it. These are the case-making pieces of evidence. I'll be the judge of that. Oh, I see glass shard right here. What is this? Yeah. What's this? It looks like there's something inside of the costume's head. Hey, They sparkle. I bet they really valuable. Sorry, but they're just pieces of mirror. But why are they here? Wait. Okay. And the bullet hole. This bullet hole. It looks kind of burned around the edges. Wait, those burn marks were left from gunpowder. This is a most important fact. Why is that? Because it's proof that the victim was shot at point blank range. Okay, so it's close up. Could this gun be the actual murder weapon? Well, are these not the most definitive pieces of evidence you've ever seen? Thank you, Dad. This should be enough to convince Mr. Edgewood over there. Oh, is he gonna rebuttal? Or evidence? Make no mistake, there are fingerprints on that murderer's gun. And they prove that it was Lolly who killed Oliver. But Oliver was also after Lolly's life. So Mr. Edgewood, even you must see that Lolly was only acting in self-defense. The fingerprints on the weapon, huh? Oh no, this isn't helpful at all. Look, Mr. Edgewood, all I want to do is save Lolly. But in the end, all I can do is watch on as she takes the punishment of her crimes. That may be all you can do, however. I still have a case to solve and a job to do. The job of unraveling your insidious lie. You wound me. Why won't you believe me, even in the face of all this evidence?
Hold it!
Those fingerprints. Are you sure they belong to Miss Pops? There's no mistake about it. Through my connections, I had the best forensic techniques money can buy performed. I find it a bit peculiar. What? Are you trying to pick an argument with me? What should I do? Should I raise an objection? Let's see where this goes. Frankly, I don't believe that Miss Pop's prints should be on that gun to begin with. The reason why Miss Pop's print should not be on this gun is the costume that she wore. Worn at the time of shooting, gunpowder burned as proof that he was shot at point blank. Let's try.
Take that!
It's simply not possible for Miss Pops to have left any prints for the murder weapon, because while she was in the stadium, Miss Pops was wearing a costume. You see? Huh? But there has been no mistake. We found fingerprints. Well, Miss Pop, do you remember touching the gun at all at any time? Yes. As a matter of fact, I did hold it for a bit back in the hideout and handed it off to Mr. Deacon when he and Lance left for the haunted house. To retrieve the ransom money, I suppose. And there you have it. That's when Miss Pop's prints found their way onto the gun. Durr. Do you understand now, Mr. Amano? The fingerprints do not prove that Miss Pops is the murderer. But you still don't have anything to prove that she isn't the killer, right? You seem very adamant about insisting that your girlfriend is a cold-blooded killer. Oh, Lance. What? No way. I'm incredibly worried about her. But that doesn't change the fact that you don't have any evidence, right? That's where you're wrong. I have the evidence. What? How? The story that Miss Pops killed the victim at the stage in the stadium. The whole affair is simply not true because that was not the real crime scene, but a setup. This proves that the real murder was not committed at the stadium at all. Where did it prove? Because it was at point blank range. So then this again? Again, yeah. Let's take another good look at the costume the victim was wearing. Then I believe you will see why I insist he was not shot at the stadium. Let's just click this then. The burn around the bullet hole was made when the victim was shot at point blank range. I'm going to change my controller real quick. Then, so you mean the murder Miss Oldbag saw at the stadium really was... Yes. She saw two people, but they were separated by a distance. If the victim was indeed shot from below the stage, there shouldn't be a gunpowder burn. Heh, look at you, Mr. Smarty Pants Prosecutor. Since you seem to know all the answers, why not tell us where the real crime scene is then? Now we can show the place of the shards thingy to them. Lance set me up to look like Mr. Deacon back at the hideout. If that's the case, then the murder must have happened prior to that. And the location where Lance and the victim were at just before I was imprisoned was... That's the haunted mansion. I've got it. I know where the real murder took place. The location in which Mr. Deacon was killed is here. Whee! I think it's not unreasonable to assume the murder took place in the haunted house. The haunted house? Yes, and I have proof that it is highly likely that the victim was killed here. What proves that the real scene of the crime was in the haunted house? Now we can do the glass shards. They were inside of the costume the victim was wearing. They're fragments of a mirror. A mirror? And what does that have to do with anything? Indeed, you don't exactly expect to find pieces of mirror inside of a costume. Yeah, that's actually pretty dangerous. However, there is one place I can think of where there is a plethora of mirror fragments. And that is the haunted house. Lance Amano, I propose that you killed Mr. Deacon with the revolver in the haunted house. After that, you stole the Blue Badger mobile to move his body to the Wild Wild West area. The timing of when the Blue Badger mobile was stolen confirms this fact. Miles, my boy, say no more. I'm sorry, Mr. Armano, but I cannot do that. Be quiet. Yes, please do something. Stop that boy from speaking any more nonsense. Ernest Amano, correct. I meant you. Now be quiet, Gramps. How dare you! I don't need words. The only thing I require is evidence. Decisive evidence. And to call these mirror bits decisive is a bit too presumptuous, Mr. Prosecutor. What? Sheena, wasn't there a mirror in the kidnapper's hideout? Yes, there was a mirror there. A mirror that's from the haunted house. You see, it's possible that the fragments got into the costume there. But Agent Lang, there were no fragments on the floor, so the probability is very low. Probability? Ha 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 ha. Langsy says, on Truth's path, the word probability does not exist. The only thing that does is definitive proof. The question, Mr. Prosecutor, is, do you have the definitive proof you need? Well, Mr. Edgeworth, do you? Do I have solid evidence that proves that the murder took place in the haunted house? The answer is no. See? So since you don't have any, shut up. I don't have the evidence yet, but... I'm certain the murder occurred around the time I turned the ransom over. At the time, the only people at the haunted house besides myself were Lance and Mr. Deacon. If I can prove that the murder took place at the haunted house, then I can prove Lance's guilt in connection to the murder. What now, Mr. Edgeworth? Agent Lang, I have a special request. Yeah? I'd like to prove to you that the scene of the crime was indeed the haunted house. Why in the world are you asking the werewolf for permission? Because I don't really have a choice if I want to find the truth. Alright, permission granted. But you're not to touch a single thing, got it? That it won't be a problem. All that's important to me is that the truth be brought to light. It doesn't matter by who or how it's done, as long as it is. Sheena! I'm here. Put me in paperwork for authorization immediately. Understood. I'll go get the Watergate group's approval. Who was that? Now. Let's hold on for a second. There's no need to obtain approval. Mr. Amano? Agent Lang, if you would please take a look at this. What is this? Sheena! It's the deed of the haunted house. The deed? Read it out loud. Gatewater Land Inc. hereby bequeaths the property known as the haunted house to Mr. Amano for the lump sum of 1 million paid in full cash. Huh? What? Oh. As you can see, I am now the legal owner of the haunted house. Are you kidding? When did you? I ran into the owner of the park earlier and we made the deal almost immediately. However, how quickly things move when you can prepare $1 million in a blink of an eye. That 1 million you paid. Don't tell me it was... Oh, that's right. This disgusting suitcase belongs to you, doesn't it? I don't have any more use of it, so you may have it back now. You used the ransom money? My Lance is a good boy. He even apologized for kidnapping a bit earlier. So I do believe that I will forgive him. After all, he did return the ransom money. That's the way things are. So if you would please discuss things with me from now on. Discuss? What is there to discuss? Why, permission to enter the haunted house, of course. While we were busy listening of Lance's story, Mr. Amano was out there preempting us. Permission to search the haunted house is denied. End of discussion. Agent Lang, I want you to arrest that girl. And Miles, you should hurry on home now, my boy. Before I really lose my temper. Mr. Amano definitely has a deck stacked in his favor here. What should I do? If I leave it like this, the truth will be lost forever. No! We're going to solve this murder now! If I can get permission to investigate the crime scene, then the truth will be lost. Hold it! Okay. Mr. Edgeworth, what are you doing spacing out? Have you forgotten there's only one thing you should do at a time like this? And what is that? When the people are in bind, the hero of justice appears to save the day. Look, you just have to leave it to me. For I am Kay Frazier, the second of the great Yatagarasu. But I thought you were a thief, not a hero. The Yatagarasu is noble and is always a thief of justice. That's of course. If we have enough information, I can recreate the inside of the haunted house with this. Plus, if we then factor in everyone's testimony, you can recreate exactly what happened when I dropped off the ransom money. We may be able to figure out some new information through this. It's worth a try. Agent Lang. So you want to use your little toy? Be my guest. Okay, hang on. You're all about to witness the true power of a real modern-day Robin Hood. Detective Gumshoe. Is there a copy of the haunted house blueprint among the police reference documents? Yes, sir. We got it just in case we needed it for the kidnapping case. Alright, I'll input the haunted house data then. Haha, Ernest thinks he was smart? Well, we're smarter than him. What is this? Where are we? It's like we're inside the haunted house. Even if we can't inspect the real location itself, the path to the truth slumbers here. If I can successfully navigate my way using logic, I'll ultimately arrive to the truth. Now then, I believe I'm ready to investigate the crime scene. Okay, which should I recreate first? You haven't figured it out yet? Maybe I have and maybe I haven't, but I'm going to make you do all the hard work. Very well. I'd like to inspect the moments in which I was ambushed by my abductor. The two of them were definitely in this place at the time. If I can verify, it may provide me with a new lead. I had just come out into the hallway after leaving the money inside the dining room. At the time, I saw a badger slumped over on the floor at the end of the hallway. Eh? What was a badger doing all the way down there? I also thought it was strange. However, I thought that maybe it was simply a mannequin that was set there for the atmosphere. Do you know which badger it was? No, it was too dark to tell. All I saw was its silhouette. In that case, I'll guess I'll just program a badger silhouette for now then. Okay, programming complete. Then I started walking towards the exit. And that's when you were struck behind, right? Yes. But that's odd. The hallway is a dead end. Where did your assailant come from? There's only one location I can think of. I believe my assailant was lying in wait here. Well, I guess it's the badger, because that's what we saw. That doll I saw wasn't really a doll. It was in fact a costume kidnapper. Oh, so he used the costume as a perfect camouflage to blend in with the rest of the house. Precisely. He waited until I had made the drop-off and was about to leave. Then, just as he saw me take a step towards the exit, he stood and launched his attack. I can think of no better hiding place than this. Hey, not bad. I'm beginning to think I should steal this tactic for myself. Just don't use it to do anything criminal, okay? Well, Lance. What? What are you asking me for? As one of the kidnappers, I figured I should give you the chance to confess first. I was one of the kidnappers, but I don't know anything. I did come up to the haunted house, but I never set foot inside. I left Oliver in charge of picking up the ransom money. He didn't set foot inside. Is he telling the truth, or is this another lie? Alright then. You're claiming that it was Mr. Deacon who assaulted me? Yes, I'm sure it was him. Okay, inputting the new info now. Mr. Deacon was the bad badger, right? Since the bad badger has a gun attached to his right hand, I'll have to change it so where the weapon is in his left hand. Well, that's impossible because Deacon is right-handed. Now to verify the facts of this recreation. Let's see. I don't think he got hit to that side, but let's just figure that out. You didn't recreate the weapon? Well, I can't exactly recreate something I know nothing about. So tell me, what were you hit with? The attack came from behind, so I have no idea, but I doubt it was someone's bare hand. Okay. Then where were you hit? I was hit on the right side of my head, just above the temple. There was a bit of blood, but it wasn't anything serious. Ouch! Sounds painful. Why are you smirking like that when you say it? It's just your imagination. Now let's see. I wonder if there's anything in this hallway that could have been used as a weapon. I'm looking for something the culprit could have used to hit you with. Well, that's a sword that we see in the picture. I have it. There was indeed one such object lying here in the hallway. A prop sword. Are you talking about this thing here? Yes. Although we did find it in the kidnapper's hideout. Wait, yes, it's possible that the culprit took it with him after using it on me. To leave no evidence behind, right? Correct. It may be worth a more thorough examination yet. Okay, so the test do you want to do is luminal, because he did say about blood. The culprit was wearing a costume at the time, so fingerprints analyzed are useless. Let's run a luminal test. It's probably that some of my blood found its way onto this. Agent Lang, may I ask for your cooperation in this matter? Like I have a choice. Shinha, call the lab, boys. Understood. Expect from a dab of left-sided, it appeared that the blade is spotless. So it must have been the left side of the prop sword that hit you then, right? Okay, I'll add the recreation with this new piece of info. I think this is not right, because if he got hit from this side, him hitting this way isn't good, like I said before. Can we presume this? Finally, I found a clear contradiction of the fact about the sword. Except for a bit on this left side, this prop sword is absolutely spotless. However, the culprit had used his left hand, the blood would be on the opposite side. The opposite side? Huh. If the culprit held the sword in his left hand, then the sword's right side would hit. I see. But the blood was on the left side of the sword, right? Which means that he used his right hand to hit you. Exactly. This prop sword has a large hand guard attached to his hilt, and it would be impossible to hold it with two hands while wearing a costume with such big hands. Therefore, if it couldn't be the left hand or both hands, it must be the right. I'll change that data to reflect a right-handed swing. Not yet, Kay. There's no sense in changing anything yet. If you change the parameters of the right hand, it only create a new contradiction. That would be changing with hand, it's going to be this. The Bad Badger already holds a gun in his right hand, so he can't hold a sword in addition. Hey, that's right. Then what now? If it wasn't in his left hand or right hand, it means that the one who struck me could not have been the Bad Badger. Are you paying attention, Lance? Ugh. Mr. Deacon, could you not have been the one who struck me? Which leaves only you as our primary suspect. Fine, it was me. I hit you. It appears that you lied to me yet again. But see how quickly they catch up to you, Lance. Wait, isn't Lance left-handed? Ah yes, but that's what makes this deception all the more interesting. He used his right hand to make it look like Mr. Deacon had been the one to strike me. For you see, firing a gun with one's non-dominant hand is difficult, but the level of their dexterity isn't required to swing a prop sword. Okay, please input this new data that one who hit me from behind was Lance. Or should I say, the Proto-Badger. You got it. Here I go! Now, we have a faithful recreation of the situation around the attacked Ami. Alright, all we have to do is examine this new recreation and... And what exactly is so funny, Agent Lang? That amusing little gadget is sure packs a punch, right, China? Yes, it was all I could do to hold my laughter in. Hey, don't make fun of Little Teeth, you mean old werewolf. And he and Mr. Edgeworth bring out the best in each other. You've had a little fun, but now it's my turn. I've sat quietly by listening. But the crude conclusion you two keep spewing don't whet this wolf appetite. There's no guarantee that your toy will always show the real situation at any given time. All it displays is whatever information you put in there, right? Well, when you put it that way, your suppositions are wrong. It's not your fault, so I'm going to let you in on this. There is a trick to this haunted house. And what made that be exactly? A trick beyond your tiny imagination. Can you produce, Shana? Here you are. Now then, what you missed, girlie, is written here right in the pamphlet. The 7 Wonders of the Haunted House, the Disappearing Badger. What is this? I'd say that someone around here is fond of theatrics. As you can see, they set a doll down at the end of this hallway for that purpose. Basically, the blue badger you saw was just a stupid doll. How can this be? Guess that throws your whole theory, but it being your attacker, right out of the window. But that can't be right. Maybe the culprit hid the doll somewhere. And then he laid down and pretended to be it instead. If the criminal couldn't even hide himself in the hallway, how can you hide a giant doll? Do you get it now? Thanks to your presumptions, your logic started off weak and led you to the completely wrong conclusion. Now get off your high horse. Mr. Edgeworth! Okay, I wonder if you could please input new information for me. You don't know when to quit, do you? I can't quit, not until I declare that I found the truth. Agent Lang, for the additional information, you have my thanks. Duh, there you go again. Well, see if I care. Okay, I'm updating the recreation now. That looks really weird. Look at how it changes from the blue badger into the projo badger all of a sudden. If the slump over badger was just a doll, where was my attacker hiding? Well, that's what we're going to find out, right? So, come on, Mr. Edgeworth, let's go. Yes, let's. This recreation can't be right, which means there must be a contradiction elsewhere. Somewhere else. What should we deduce? I think we can maybe deduce this from the evidence that we've accumulated from the pamphlet. The disappearing badger. Wait, no, maybe there is like some logic. Let's check this mirror. When you take a look around, it almost feels more like a house of mirrors. Indeed, who has ever heard of this many mirrors inside of a haunted house before? Well, at least we know this is the real crime scene thanks to the mirror shards. Okay, we have logic, so we can't deduce yet. Hey, wait, these shards. There's something different about them. Oh? This one we found earlier are thicker than the shards from these mirrors on this wall. And look, there's some sort of design in the back of it too. The pieces of that costume are certainly different from the other mirrors. What does that mean? Could it be that our pieces are not pieces of these mirrors? This is a projo badger shows up from the recreation. Yes. Now the question is, where did it come from? Yeah, but there's no place to hide in this current model. There must be an inconsistency elsewhere. Do I have enough logic, or I only have one? I only have one. Okay, I don't know what's wrong with this. Like, how should I deduce it? Wait. I think I just saw something. Okay, I look at his belt. Oh my god, they're different! Oh my god, I'm so stupid. Should we do... We're gonna do the Bible. Hold on a second here. There's something wrong with this blue badger. Uh-huh, like what? The way the belt is on him is opposite of how it should be. Did you make a mistake? That can be. I inputted the image data exactly as the one in the pamphlet. So then, why is the blue badger dressed up in reverse? Is it... The only way it can be reverse is... Wait. New information that I have to click? Let's just click real quick to see. The blue badger in the pamphlet photo is the reverse in the regular blue badger. But why? It must be some sort of explanation. Oh, wow, that was it. Well, I think the two logics that we just got, because that'll be because mirrors make things reverse? Okay, do you remember what you said earlier? What I said earlier about what? About how this building might as well have been a house of mirrors. A house of mirrors? Oh! That would explain the reversed or mirrored image. Yes, this blue badger might be nothing more than the reflected image of a real one. Then, was the blue badger you saw just a reflection? When I looked down this hall, I thought it was perfectly straight. However, if there was a mirror... Oh, then it would exactly form a L shape, right? Precisely. I was deceived. The hallway was almost pitch black. And there was a beam in the way that obstructed my view of the other hallway. Wait, but why is this building like that? It sounds pretty pointless to me. Okay, this house is just another attraction at an amusement park. They created a mirror wall for a very specific purpose, only I can point out to you. This is the reason why they built a mirror wall. To make the illusion that it disappeared, right?
Take that!
As it is written in the pamphlet, the main draw of this attraction is that mystery of the disappearing badger. You mean they build the mirror of the trick alone? But you said you saw the badger, so it was definitely still there. That was true at the time, however. Doing this allows someone to make the blue badger disappear in a flash. Move the mirror wall, move the blue badger, the mirror walls. To remove a reflection image, simply move the mirror. Oh. First, the mirror was constructed so that it could be moved. Then beyond where the mirror was, an empty hallway had to be created. Oh, so when they wanted people to see the blue badger, they would open the mirror. And when they want to hide it, they simply had to close it again. This explains why the other side of these fragments have a design on them. Ah, and if the pattern is the same on the other walls, then in this hallway, then when the mirror is closed, it would blend in with the rest of the walls. This is the mirror trick that this haunted house employs. And this also proves the existence of a hiding place for the culprit. Huh? How so? Think about it, Kai. There was a place that was outside of my field of vision. The culprit kept out of sight by hiding here. There. There was a very large blind spot, one I could not see beyond, and it was here. If my assailant hid on the other side of the movable mirror, then you wouldn't be able to see him. He didn't even need to do anything to the blue badger doll. Exactly. All he had to do was wait for me on the other side of the mirror. Wait, hold on. I just thought of something. Yes? Well, shouldn't the mirror wall be broken right now in reality? Since we have a few shards of it, can probably assume it is. Yes, it most definitely is broken. The question is, when was it broken? Since we found this inside the victim's costume, that would mean that the victim was there when the mirror was broken. Wait, that sound.
Leave the money and then go now.
That sound I heard was most definitely the sound of a mirror breaking. Hey, I'd like you to input some new information. Ah, don't scare me like that. Sorry, but I need you to recreate something for me. Sure, whatever you need. So, what do you need anyway? If you could first recreate this hallway just before I entered the dining room. You got it! Now this. I believe this is how it was right before I entered the dining room. Although at the time I thought it was but a single straightway hallway, and then I went inside. It was around then I heard the sound of the mirror shattering. You heard what? Then? Yes, I believe it was then the mirror was broken. Okay, so then when you stepped outside it into the hallway again, the mirror wall should no longer exist. Okay, please recreate that. Got it. Wait, but the mirror gone, the culprit lost his hiding spot. So where did he go in the photo of the badger suit, Mr. Edgeworth? Ha, that's easy enough. With the mirror gone, he simply hid himself in the branch hallway. I think this about wraps it up. Looks like we finally solved everything. No, not yet. An even larger contradiction has now reared its head. Huh? Perhaps you didn't notice. But this recreation contains a very troubling inconsistency. The inconsistency between what I saw and the recreation lies... that there was no badger sitting there. Okay, take a look at the end of the hall. Oh, there's no blue badger there. Exactly. The blue badger that I saw in reality is not here. This is the final point of this long chain of logic. The last remaining contradiction. Do you think that maybe the assailant wasn't hiding over there? That he was in fact playing like he was a doll and then he put the culprit where the doll is? Then it would make more sense. So let me get this straight. When you came out of the dining room, you saw a badger, right? And that is precisely where the final contradiction lies. Something that shouldn't exist was there before me. Who or what do you suppose it was? I believe this is the real identity of our mystery badger. Let's do Mr. Deacon's costume.
Take that!
The badger I saw was in actuality the victim's body. Would make more sense because you could just leave him there to fakely sit there. What? Agent Lang, the entirety of my complete logic is my final decisive piece of evidence. The murder happened in the hallway of the haunted house at the time of the drop-off. And you can consider the moment I heard the mirror breaking to be the real time of the death of Mr. Deacon. No! Maybe it was due to their fighting, or perhaps it was the life-shattering bullet. But no matter what the cause was, the hallway mirror wall was broken. Ha, you were in the house at the time, right? Are you telling me that you missed the sound of a gunshot? There were a variety of sounds effects playing at the time, all for theatrics, I assume. The gunshot must have blended right in. Nah. Now then, I'd like you to recall something for me. Who was it that was with the victim at the haunted house? Who was the one who had the opportunity to rob the victim of his gun and use it on him? It was you, Lance Amano. Well, he's broken free now. Oh god, he looks even worse like this. I'm sorry. Oh, we did it! It's not like I had a choice. Oliver turned on me all of a sudden. He snapped and turned violent right after I hung up with you. He shoved me to the ground and straddled me. I fought back as hard as I could, grabbed his gun, and I shot him. The bullet must have went through his body and shattered the mirror. If I hadn't taken his gun and shot him first, I would have been the one you found. He's a hardened criminal. He escaped from jail. See? That justifies self-defense. Wait, that's Ernest. Ernest said that. My boy was only trying to protect himself. That remains to be seen and will have to be resolved in court. Agent Lang, I leave the rest to you. Ha! As if you were the one in charge around here. Guys, arrest these two and get them out of my sight. Wait! I had nothing to do with the murder! The only person who be arresting is Lance. Dad! And he faints. Sorry, but you're not slipping away that easily, Mr. Ernest Amano. You tampered with evidence so that you could cover for your son. What a great dad you are, willing to risk it all. Truly touching. Grr. By the way, do you know why I'm really here? And how could I possibly know the answer to such an obscene question? You wound me. I came all this way from across the sea just to see you, you know? You came to see me? What's that supposed to mean? I have a few things to ask you, Mr. Amano, about a case from 10 years ago. A case from 10 years ago? Oh, what's the name of that you use here for this case? China. It's known as the Key G8 incident. Oh, he's sweating. The Key G8 incident. Key. Why am I saying key? It's the K. KG8 incident. Oh, so you remember it. Good. Then you recall that the trigger in that case was the Amano Group scandal. Specifically, the charge of an eternal smuggling ring. Smuggling. There's that word again. At the time the person was arrested as the ringleader was Mr. Amano, very own secretary Mr. Colin Devior. Ah, father! Even though you pushed the crime onto your then secretary Mr. Devior, I always suspected that you were involved with the smuggling ring, Mr. Amano. Mr. Devior was arrested in place of you, which is why, when he broke out, you hid him from the police, right? You hid him in exchange for his silence on your little dirty secret. Now. Please calm down. I honestly have no idea what you're talking about. Ha, pretend to be ignorant all you want. We're taking you down to the precinct anyways for a nice long chat. Huh? What the? Who the heck was that? It's him! I'll take him down to precinct if you don't mind. And who the heck are you? I'm Jack's Sportsman, and I'm the prosecutor in charge of this case. Oh, Jactus, thank goodness you're here. Don't jerk me around. This is an Interpol case, so your paws off of my suspect. Sorry, but I can't comply. I've got the backing of the prosecutor's office. See, in this country, we prosecutors work with the police to bring cases to court. So if you could please cooperate with me here, that'd be great. Now, how about a handshake to seal the deal? Sorry, but I hate prosecutors, The whole lot of you. Guys, arrested 2 suspects. Sir! Oh, I almost forgot. Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth, is it? I'd like to thank you. Thank me? Yeah, for working so hard to fulfill my goal. Hey, is that any way to thank someone? And what the heck is that supposed to mean? You were so relentless with Lance that you forced Ernest to tamper with the evidence. Thank you to that, I finally had a legitimate reason to arrest him. So how does it feel to bite the hand that feeds you? The hand that feeds me? I'm not sure I follow. Ha, it's no use pretending with me. You're the one, right? You're the corrupt prosecutor that's working from Mr. Amano and the smuggling ring, right? Huh? He suspects us? No, I would never do such a thing. What the heck? Our intel's never wrong. In your prosecutor's office, there's definitely someone working with the ring. Ah, so Agent Lang suspects my relations to Mr. Amano. That must be the real reason behind his antagonist attitude. On top of that, your mentor was Mainford from Karma, right? Oh. There were non-stop rumors flying around about forged evidence with that guy. You're not twisting the truth behind those closed courtrooms doors too, are you? The courtroom is a place where the truth is revealed. Well, don't worry. It's not only you. The whole lot of you can't be trusted. A prosecutor who never lost in 40 years. Every defendant must be found guilty. Fueled by that kind of thinking, is it any wonder that courts produce nothing but falsities and lies? It would seem that his disdain extends beyond just me. Prosecutors, the courts, why is this man so angry with all of us? Rest assured, the next time we meet, I won't be so forgiving. So don't you forget it. Please wait. Agent Nah. Why does Agent Lang hate all prosecutors so? Lang is the head of the long-honored House of Lang in Senfa. The head of all police-related division in that country were of Lang blood. Were? What do you mean by that? Aren't they still? They were rarefied, but that was long ago. They don't hold that sort of sway anymore. And it was all because of the courts. How can that be? A prosecutor once withheld and tampered with the evidence one of the Lang detectives found. That evidence purity was tarnished and cost the Lang family its honor and trust. But not all prosecutors are like that. Even so, Lang will never respect the court again, or any prosecutor. So Agent Lang is a man who hates all courts and is unwillingly to forgive prosecutors. Man, what a piece of work that guy is. Come on, Jim. We better catch up. Yeah. We've still got to deliver that thing to the old man, after all. Well, I like how this was before the time, and poor guy's gonna die. Detective Gumshoe, I believe it is time we wrapped up and headed out ourselves. Yeah, are you going home, Mr. Edgeworth? No, I've done nothing but be entangled in one mess after another since my return, and you will be into another mess soon after. If it's alright with you, can you drop me off at my office? No problem, sir. Excuse me. Yes, what is it? Thank you very much. It's okay, no need to thank me, pal. Just doing my job as a detective. I guess I was fooled pretty badly by Lance. Oh, cruel fate. What's a woman to do when she's been hurt by the one who she loves? And to think I've never realized my father was right there. I never said anything to him. I knew it. I'm a failure. Ah, there she goes again, talking to herself. Miss Pops. I wonder if you know why your father participated in the kidnapping. No, I have no idea. Your father died while he was trying to stop Lance. Which means that from the beginning he had no interest in this stage self-abduction. Wait, then why did he? I believe it was because of your presence, Miss Pops. Me? Lance realized that the two of you were related, which is why he used you as a hostage to coerce Mr. Devier into kidnapping. Father! As a felon, he could not tell you of his real relation to you. However, as the Amano family butler, at the very least, he was able to watch over you. It was all he could do, but that was the shape of his overflowing love for you. Overflowing love. Go on, speak your mind. That is... Thank you very much. You're welcome. Although there is no need to thank me. No, Lauren, stop. I mean, this man is so much older than you. Oh my god, no! Lauren! Yes, you better walk away. Better go. Yes, leave. Looks like you've completely stolen her away, Mr. Edgeworth. Way to go, sir. Your technique is beyond the level of a great thief. What are you going on about now? Wow, your deducing skills may be sound, but you have no street smarts. That's Mr. Edgeworth for you. Yeah, I mean, he still hasn't figured out who I'm at all. Huh? If you haven't remembered in all this time, I guess I'm just going to have to say it. This isn't the first time we met, you know. What do you mean, pal? Mr. Edgeworth, how do you know this girl? Looks like you totally forgot me too, Gummy. Gummy? Here, maybe this will jog your memories. I promise I'll return this to you one day, remember? That's a single piece of cloth took me back far into my past. To that fateful day 7 years ago when I first met the then child K and Detective Gumshoe. The end! We did it! Oh my god! It took us 2 hours. I did not believe that. But oh my god, we managed to do it! Yay! We finally finished the kidnap turnabout. I'm so happy. Well, I'm going to end it here. It was nice. We are now going to have a fresh new episode. Episode 4, Turnabout Reminiscence. And that will be next week, hopefully.
If I'm not busy, please. I'm trying so hard, but I have other projects that I'm working on, so that's why it was a little bit hard to make an episode for this. I'm sorry that it took so long, but it's out now, so I don't have to worry about it anymore. But I'm trying to make new projects in the meantime, and also doing this. I'm just doing too much. Don't worry about me.
Anyway, I'll see you guys later. Bye!